Hi, this is Matt from Prestige Quoting, and in this video we'll be having a look at how we can update QuoteWerks to the latest version. If we go to QuoteWerks.com, go to Support and then Updates, we'll be able to download the latest setup file. Updating QuoteWerks can be done from any workstation, doesn't necessarily need to be done from your QuoteWerks server. Once your file is downloaded, if we set that off and running, we now have a fairly typical next type of installer. I will accept the agreement, and you're going to be wanting to ensure that update or upgrade your existing installation of QuoteWerks is selected. Now it should recognise the location of your QuoteWerks database, or you can navigate to the appropriate folder on your server. It will check that the upgrade key that you have is valid, so all QuoteWerks updates require a maintenance key to be valid. In this case we're valid until the 21st of August 2019, and it will now begin the update. Time remaining can be a little bit variable. Typically, I find that performing a QuoteWerks update takes between 1 and 3 minutes to complete, dependent upon database size. So what has now completed is the core upgrade of QuoteWerks itself. All of the revisions, the release notes we can find here. You can copy all of that text, open it in Notepad, or if we were to go back to the QuoteWerks website, we can view the feature list, or maybe I want to search for a particular feature or aspect of QuoteWerks, so I might want to look at anything relating to ConnectWise, and I'll be able to see all of those release notes that are relevant to ConnectWise, for example. Now the next element is the node installation. This requires to be done on all workstations using QuoteWerks, and it runs it as part of the core update as well. The node setup is a file called nsetup within your main QuoteWerks folder. We have the option to create backup copies of files replaced during the installation, so if a rollback is requested we can do that. And if I'm integrating with any of the CRM or PSA systems here, we would need to check the appropriate integration as well. This process takes about 30 seconds or so to complete. Our time remaining just there, again, can hop up and down a little bit. And once that process begins to come to a close, the first time it will immediately want to open QuoteWerks. Dependent upon the version or build of QuoteWerks that you're coming from, QuoteWerks might be updating various database fields. If there are new database fields that require information to be populated, it will do that. So the first time you update QuoteWerks, it can take a moment or two longer to open than you would normally expect. In this case, I'm only upgrading from a slightly earlier build, so it hasn't had anything to do just there, but that process can take a little time, again dependent upon the version that you're coming from and the size of your database. So it's now asking me to restart QuoteWerks manually. And I'm now on version, in this case version 5.4, build 108, which as of the time of this video is the most current release of QuoteWerks, the 19th of November. Again, once that's done, other users will need to run nsetup, which again we can find within the QuoteWerks application itself. I'll now go through that entire process once more in real time with no sound.